Hi, I'm Luke. Today on Out of Darts, I wanted to show you my first impressions of the Worker Dominator. Now, Worker keeps pushing the envelope as the largest third-party manufacturer of Nerf-compatible accessories, and this is their third blaster in a series of blaster shells they've done. The first they did was a Recon shell, which required other parts and internals to work, but it was compatible with most Recon parts. And the second was the Swordfish. Now, this blaster is very similar to the Swordfish, other than missing the scales, but what is unique about this blaster is that it is set to take 3 sets of flywheels, or up to 3. Now, the great thing about this blaster is that you don't have to put 3 in here, because honestly, the current requirements and battery size you're going to need for 3 flywheels is quite steep. And I do not think there's quite enough room in this battery compartment, but we'll get into that in a little bit here. So right off the bat, they've removed the scales, and it's a slightly different styling than the Swordfish. I do like that. I think it feels a little better in the hand. It comes by default as semi-auto, but they have kits for full auto. I will be putting this blaster through its paces and building one, probably semi-auto first and then full auto kit, just to experience the whole thing this week. The blaster is asymmetrical, much like the Swordfish before it, but I can understand that because it is allowing for larger motors and plenty of space internally. Not unlike my Jupiter blaster, which is also asymmetrical. This is just sort of what happens if you wanted to make this blaster symmetrical. It would be this much wider over on this side. Now, this blaster... Now, along with allowing for 3 sets of flywheels, the most exciting thing about this is the magazine. This is a 40-round double-stack mag, and from what I can tell with playing with this, now given I have not got to fire this yet, but it seems as though it's going to feed just fine regardless of what dart type you put in it. I've got a mix of AccuFakes, Elite, and Waffles in here, and it doesn't to me seem like it's going to require the hard tip darts. Now, we won't really know until we all get to actually install the electronics and build this blaster up, because this is very much a kit. You can order different parts with it, but it doesn't come wired up. So it's sort of like starting a Strife mod, but you've already got the shell ready to go. And one of the coolest things there is that there's nothing to gut. You just buy the shell and you get going. They only put a few of the screws in from the factory, and the rest are included in a little separate baggie. That way, you don't even have to take the extra time to take all the screws out. So I think this mag is a really fantastic idea. I hope it's reliable. I hope it works really well. If it does, this is going to become a very, very popular blaster, because this magazine at 40-round capacity is it's actually shorter than a Worker 22. And the profile almost, to me, might fit better in carrying devices and mag holders and such. Now, it will require a custom mag well for another blaster, because the sizing of the mag well here is wider, of course, because this mag is a completely different size. Another great thing I should note is that this blaster does come with adapters to use a standard magazine in this blaster. So you don't even have to make a decision on whether you want to use the new mags or the old mags. You get compatibility with both. I think it's really interesting to see Worker do something this cool and take a stab at something this unique. I mean, this is something that Hasbro hasn't done yet, and 40 rounds is really, really impressive. I would love to run a loadout with just like 4 of these. I mean, wow, 160 rounds for 4 mags. That's just, I mean, it's nearly double the best current one we had, and it's in a straight mag. So if this works, this is going to be amazing. From what I can tell, this is really well made. It's got a very nice guide channel. There's very little play in the follower, and the spring is a very strong spring, and it's a different style. It's not the accordion style spring. Instead of it's a standard extension spring. Compression spring, excuse me. It's a standard compression spring. So I think this is going to be a fun blaster. I'm going to build this week and really dive into seeing what this thing can do. Now, I'm going to start with a single cage because I want to find out what batteries can fit in here as well. And I will do a follow-up video talking about battery selection for this blaster and what you'd need to do to put 3 sets of motors in here. Because 3 sets of motors going through one switch without a MOSFET is slightly suspect to me. So I'm going to see what's also in this full auto kit and whether there is a control board or something that I'm missing here to understand how you would do 3 sets of flywheels on a single 21 amp switch. Now, one interesting thing versus the Swordfish is that this comes pre-installed with, I don't know the amperage, but I'm going to guess it's a 21 amp clone switch of some style, but it's a micro switch like the Omron micro switches, and so that's really cool because it's basically, there's no plate needed to be designed for this, it's just going to be ready to go. I'd love to hear what you think about this. This is going to be coming to my shop and to other shops fairly soon. I have them on order already, and I do hope to have them by Christmas, but we will see how the shipping goes. Sea freight is remarkably slow, but when you're shipping something that comes in a box like this and you want to buy a lot of them, you really need to not ship via air because you're just going to pay too much freight, and then I have to charge a higher price on the site. But let me know what you think of this, and I will have a lot more to come on this because this is, to me, way more interesting than any of the new releases that have come out from Hasbro, because this is really aimed at the modder. It has a unique feed system, and I have some other interesting ideas that have nothing to do with this blaster, but I'm going to use it. More on that later. Thanks for watching. I'm working really hard to try get more content out. I miss making videos, so that's going to be a new priority each week. I love doing this, and thank you for all your support. Until next time, I'm out of darts.